Ho 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 ho! Hello everyone, it is Matsimus, your one and only. I'm sorry, I can't do French accents. Welcome everyone, it is your one and only Matsimus. I really appreciate you being here on today's video. We are touching back into the world of military aviation to a tiny little fighter jet that really has come across as a very prestigious French air superiority platform. Now, I want to make it very clear that I am not a subject matter expert when it comes to anything aviation, because I'm not a flyboy. My real speciality or passion is armoured fighting vehicles. However, learning about aircraft is something I'm very intrigued into doing, because they are, at the end of the day, the staple of any military power to dominate the skies. And this aircraft definitely has the capability to do so for many militaries around the world. So we're going to discuss the overview of this aircraft, the Dassault Mirage 2000, and some of its different variants. So let's get going. In 1972, the program ACF, or Airplane Future Combat for Air Superiority, was launched. The aircraft must have a fixed wing, 2 reactors, M53s, and replace the Mirage F1 and 3. This program, too ambitious, was stopped as of December the 12th, 1975, and the prototype was completely unfinished. It was scrapped. But the Delta 2000, a single engine designed on its own funds, aroused the interest of the Air Force of France. Smaller and less expensive than the ACF, likely to compete with the F-16, it was chosen on December 18th, 1975. It was designed by a team gathered around Vallès, Cabré, Weber, Verin Falcoz, and quickly renamed the Mirage 2000. The Mirage 2000 returns to the famous Delta formula, but includes the CDVE, a first for a European plane. Its wing is equipped with a variable camber and has only really been made possible by newer technologies during its time of development. It is produced naturally unstable, very similar to that of the Eurofighter Typhoon. The aircraft, however, is manageable though with the fly-by-wire system, and because of the centre of gravity merges with the centre of the plane, it provides a very stable platform and very good for dogfighting or outmanoeuvring other aircraft or missiles. Although it resembles the Mirage III or 5 externally, it is an entirely new aircraft. Its cell, or the majority of the internal components, is mainly built of aluminum, or aluminium for those who get upset of me saying aluminum, but it also contains high amounts of titanium and carbon fibers to reduce its overall weight. There were many different prototypes of this aircraft made, however the Mirage 2001 flew for the first time on March 10, 1978, with the 04 finally finishing its prototype flight in 12th of May 1980. The Mirage 2000 really made its overall first public appearance at Farnborough in the same year of which the F-16 was competing against this package. You know, I'm sure there's going to be a number of you in the comments section that are going to make some French jokes about how, the French military have white flags and, all that sort of stuff. But if you just take a little bit of time to research French aviation, there is a lot of contributions of which the French have made. There were a lot of French aircraft fighting in World War I. French companies helped bring major advantages to the aviation technology, for instance the Concorde, the Caravelle, and France continues to advance in aviation technology today, including their significant contributions to Airbus, which continues to be a really big driving force in air transport today, and the same thing applies for military aviation. When I think of this jet, I think of Titanic. I know you're probably wondering where am I going with this, but the scene of which where Jack is being told, "Jack, paint me like one of your French girls." Well, one of these aircraft would be certainly one of those French girls that I would want to paint. They are absolutely beautiful little fighter jets. That delta wing really does come out as one of the key prominent features. I mean, it really is just beautiful. A pure delta wing aircraft, and it's sleek, it's smooth, its body style is beautiful, but that refueling probe on the front really does look like a wart on the front of it. It really it's totally out of shape, but overall an absolutely stunning aircraft in general. The 2 circular inlets with the adjusting shock cones on either side of the cockpit feed one engine, the Semtke M53 afterburning turbofan. The fuel-efficient turbofan puts out around 12,230 pounds of dry thrust, which leaps to a massive 19,400 pounds when the afterburners kick in. That's really not too bad for a fighter plane with a loaded weight of around 30,000 pounds. This thrust-to-weight ratio is greater than the nimble MiG-21, but isn't quite reaching the level of its beautiful competitor, my favourite fighter jet in the world, other than the F-22, the F-16. And yes, I will eventually be doing a full review video on the F-16. The real magic of the Mirage 2000C is that delta wing. The delta wings create lots of lift at high angles of attack due to how air flows over the leading edges, making the aircraft very maneuverable. They generally don't do so well, however, at subsonic speeds, and delta wings produce a lot of drag at slower speeds. For a military fighter aircraft, however, high-speed maneuverability is a good trade-off for poor subsonic performance, in my own personal opinion. To make things interesting, the Mirage 2000C was actually designed to inherently be very unstable. Although this enables a much greater degree of maneuverability than a conventionally marginal stable aircraft, the 2000C's advanced fly-by-wire system is constantly working to keep that pointy end of the aircraft forward. All it takes is one flip of the FBW disable switch to really appreciate what the computer is trying to do. In other words, you really would not want to be turning off that system in flight. Internally, the aircraft has a very advanced war machine fighting capability. In addition to the high-tech systems that are handling the control surfaces, a central computer connects to the inertial navigation system, an air data computer, and the radar Doppler impulsion system, or RDI. This is a pulse Doppler radar that has an integrated combat package. Throw in the radar altimeter, radar warning receiver, and both heads-up displays and heads-down displays, and you've got one heck of a good time on your hands. To bring down its aerial prey, the M2000C has a twin 30mm cannon with around 125 rounds each, nestled quite snugly under its chin, and 4 of its underwing pilots can carry the Matra Super 530 semi-active radar homing missiles and the Magic or Magic 2 infrared missiles. Another aerial weapon is the MICA, which is a very French-speaking word for a long-range air-to-air intercept combat missile. The MICA supports a maximum operating range of around 60 kilometers, and the aircraft can carry 4 of these missiles with 2 Magic missiles and 3 drop tanks simultaneously. The Mirage 2005 can fire the MBDA Super 530D missile or the MBDA Sky Flash air-to-air missile as the alternative to the MICA missile. The aircraft in some regard is a multi-role fighter, and therefore it is equipped to carry a range of air-to-surface missiles and weapons, including laser-guided bombs. These include many different munitions from MBDA, a major firearms/weapon systems manufacturer, and they produce laser-guided bombs, anti-radar missiles, anti-ship missiles, and even the missiles that are used from the Apache helicopter that will be eventually replacing the Maverick/Hellfire platform. The aircraft, to deter itself from those nasty little missiles, is also equipped with a self-protection suite installed internally. The Mirage 2005 carries the ICMS Mark II Automated Integrative Countermeasure System. The ICMS Mark II incorporates a receiver and associated signal processing system in the nose section for detection of missile command data links. Basically, the aircraft can detect multiple missiles and actually even pass on those missile detections to other aircraft in the vicinity, almost like a battle management system. The performance of the Mirage 2000 is also quite impressive. It can climb at a rate of 285 meters a second. The maximum speed of the aircraft is round about 2,530 kilometers an hour, and its ferry range is 3,335 kilometers. The range and service ceiling are 1,550 kilometers and 70,060 meters respectively. The Mirage 2000 has obviously taken a lot of interest from other countries around the world. Orders for 110 Mirage 2005s were placed by the air forces of France, Taiwan, and Qatar and Greece. The first Mirage 5 was delivered to Taiwan in December 1997. Around 57 Mirage 2000s are currently in service with Taiwan. Greece acquired 50 Mirage 2005 Mark IIs upgraded to the 10 of its Mirage 2000s to the same standards. They first entered production in September 2004 and concluded their deliveries in 2007. The United Arab Emirates ordered 20 Mirage 2009s and 12 Mirage 2009D aircraft, customized versions of the Mirage 2005s, which were delivered between 2003 and 2007. Brazil also agreed to buy 12 of the ex-French Air Force Mirage 2000C aircrafts. The aircraft really has a lot of different contracts going on. It's a popular aircraft. It's got a lot of good features. It's fairly cheap for the time period that it's been designed for, and the modernization for it will increase the lifespan for at least 20 years from what they're saying right now. Overall, the Mirage 2000 is a small, light, and maneuverable aircraft with that beautiful delta wing capability, which promotes its chances of being in close air support and close air combat very, very successful. Although really intended primarily for hunting, it has proven very flexible and has shown availability for both ease of maintenance and durability in its parts, its processing of repair. So, it's a lot better for companies and countries that want to try and get this aircraft repaired and sent back out in the fleet. That's a good thing, Changing of parts for aircraft can be very expensive, and if they can try and create a platform that is cross-compatible between many of the older platforms, that's what they would try and do. It for sure is going to remain in service for a few decades, I'm sure, to come, especially in its more modernized versions. And it's a formidable fighter. I would not want to be going up against it if you're a low-tier, lower generation aircraft going into a combat situation. Of course, stealth is not a thing with this aircraft. It was never really something that was considered. But in terms of its hunter-killer capability, it really is ticking just about every single box. For a tiny little fighter like this, I think it's got quite a lot running for it. It's similar to the F-16, A lot of people make fun of me when I say the F-16 is one of my favorite fighter jets, and it baffles me as to why they think that way, because although it's a single-engine fighter, and a lot of people get very upset with the single-engine platform, because if the engine fails, it's got nothing to back it up, I don't buy into that, Engines should last a very long time. I work in the aviation industry. I know how engines work. I know of their maintenance schedules, the engineering that goes into them. And honestly, if an engine is maintained properly, you should have nothing to worry about. That's the key to this, is some of these engines have been on aircraft for a very long time. They've been tried and tested. They're not going to keep them on an aircraft that's going to fail. So a lot of it's down to maintenance and just not correct care. So the argument of, it's just a single-engine fighter, it's not got that good capability of being into a combat situation, I don't believe that. That's just my opinion. I think single-engine fighters still have a huge amount of potential in the modern battle airspace. But again, I'm not a subject matter expert when it comes to aviation. It really doesn't matter what I say. I'm not a fighter pilot. I have no true credibility to these aircraft or their capabilities. But for me, it just makes sense. This is really an interceptor. It's a hunter. It's there to go and find other fighters within, an airspace and take them out. It can go into sort of the strike roll capability, but I don't really think that was its main purpose. It doesn't really have, in my eyes, screaming out, aerial bomber. A lot of the kind of same principles were placed upon the Eurofighter Typhoon. To me, it's the French version of the Eurofighter Typhoon, really. It's like its little kind of cousin. They very, very similar kind of design and styling. And it's just a gorgeous jet. I mean, it's just gorgeous. I love looking at these things flying around. I would actually like to play DCS one day at these things, because I think it'd be a lot of fun to try. Folks, that's it for today. I really appreciate you being here and watching today's video. If I made any mistakes, I do apologize. Please leave them in the comments section below so I can correct them. And if you wish to support my channel, please go check out my Patreon page. For those of you who have been supporting me on there, I can't thank you enough. It really does mean a lot to me. If you want to be notified of any upcoming videos that I'm going to release, please hit the little bell button by the subscribe button to be notified. All the best, folks. Bye-bye.